I'm up off that mat, into the trench. See you lead, be the band.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Corner to Copa. I'm here with my co-host, Coach. How you feeling today?
Oh, how sweet it is for the gritty Tigs. Feeling great, man. I mean, try not to ride the high too high, if you know what I mean here, as we'll look to dive into some numbers. But the chest sticking out a little bit these days.
Yeah, the Tigers are coming off a strong, just wrapped up a strong homestand where they went 8-2. They were able to take 3 of 4 from Kansas City, 2 of 3 from San Diego, and sweep the Baltimore Orioles. They got rained out on Friday, had a doubleheader on Saturday, and were able to take both games. I went to the second game of the doubleheader, and then we handled business today. We had our ace on the bump. Who else would you rather have? And he had a great performance, and we were able to blank Baltimore. They struggled to get runs all series long, and there's no better way to wrap up a homestand than to have the best pitcher in the world on the bump to set the tone for an upcoming road trip. But if as far as key players on this trip, obviously it started with Riley Green getting off a slump. He was big yesterday. He had a 3-run home run. He was able to rob Baltimore of a home run in the first game. Definitely one of the MVPs. I gotta say, Javi Baez, who's pictured in the graphic right here. He has played many different positions. I think he played shortstop at least once on the homestand, but mostly he's been playing shortstop. Been playing third base. He played some center field. He's had some wacky, awkward moments, but he did make an amazing over-the-shoulder catch. I'm not going to go out there and say Willie Mays-esque, but not bad for a 30-year-old, shortstop for all intensive purposes, covering over 100 feet to make that over-the-shoulder catch. And yeah, Dingler, has been able to remain his status quo. I didn't even talk about Javi offensively, but he had quite a few opportunities for runners in scoring position where he was able to capitalize. I want to say he had 2 RBIs today even, and he's now his average is back over 300. Not a bad option out of that 9-hole. Torque, another guy that's played well offensively and defensively. He hit a home run. I think he went 2 for 8 yesterday on Saturday. He had a home run to extend the lead. He had a big 2-run RBI as well in the second game, but he also made a couple of nice defensive plays. One where he made a catch and snagged the ground ball and was able to secure a fielder's choice at home, which protected our lead. We only won 3-4 on Saturday, but what are your impressions on the homestand as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think really, especially in this Baltimore series, I mean, to a large degree to San Diego, their pitching collectively shined, whether it was their starters and their bullpen coming in. They really helped keep the door closed. And frankly, San Diego's been one of the hottest teams, rolling into that midweek first series this week. There was no team hotter than San Diego. And I just have some quick notes on that. Torres, McKinstry each had 3 hits in the Game 1 win. Flaherty was his sparkling self in Game 2 in the loss, the 2-0 shutout. Not his fault. Offense just couldn't muster anything against San Diego. Game 3, Reese Olson bounced back, was in control, throwing some nasty change-ups, getting guys swinging and missing. really good to see a bounce back outing from him. And they collectively held. Now, here's who their pitching did collectively to Tatis, Gavin Sheets, Machado, and Xander Bogaerts. Their big four. Tatis was 2 for 12 with 1 RBI and 4 strikeouts. Gavin Sheets was 2 for 11 with 1 run and 1 RBI and 1 solo home run, 4 strikeouts. Machado went 1 for 10 with 1 run, a walk, and 2 Ks. And Bogaerts went 2 for 10 with 1 run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. And none of those guys played today. Well, obviously they played today, but they played across all 3 games, and those were their final numbers. They were very humbled by the Tigers pitching staff. And heading the weekend, I think pretty much fresh in our mind. The starting pitchers really did a great job. Bullpen was fairly consistent, maybe a run or 2 here and there in the 3 games total. Nothing to be concerned about. Led by Mize and Skubal. Skubal was incredible. 11 Ks, 6 innings today, no earned runs, scattered a couple hits, and they took just enough advantage of Charlie Morton in relief in game 2 or game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday to push some of those walks into runs and got just enough, as you mentioned, to win by 1 run. And today it was the bottom portion of the lineup, guys that we weren't, you would expect to collectively carry a team in the game. Torres, Dingler, Baez, Sweeney, all delivering hits and runs, and McKinstry again. And I think one thing to note too for the week, Zach McKinstry is turning into arguably their best defensive player that's not named Parker Meadows.
Yeah, McKinstry actually holds someone out yesterday in the game. They've been, I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that he has such a strong arm. Obviously, he's, played shortstop a lot for us and third base, but he said that he's been waiting for somebody to try him, and he finally got that opportunity. This was the Baltimore O's were on a bit of a run, and this was a hit that I think got to the wall where they were hoping to get 2 runs, and we were able to hold them to just 1 because of a strong throw from McKinstry that I thought was just going to be cut off and secured, but it would eventually go straight to Dingler, and he was able to make a tag. But outside of that, it's been good to see Jace Young, who's struggled since he's been up, get his first RBI single yesterday, and I want to say he at least got a hit. But did he get an RBI today as well?
Yeah, I think he also had a walk in the game yesterday to go along with that other hit too.
Yeah, and one thing Young is going to do, he's definitely going to get some walks. So, it was the one in game 1 was a 2-out RBI, so a pretty clutch moment. But overall, Casey Mize, he's 4-1 on the year. He was able to spread around 8 hits, and his ERA is now 2.12 right now, but 4-1. So very impressive from him. And I was I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. I knew that when Dingler played the first game of the doubleheader that it was going to be Tomas Nido playing catcher in the second one, but he's become a bit of a young pitcher whisperer. Kiter Montero, another person I was like, I would have loved to see Mize or Skubal, but ended up watching Montero play yesterday, and he wasn't bad. He wasn't able to go 5 innings, so he didn't pitch, and he only went 4 1/3, so he wasn't able to get a win. But 4 hits, 1 earned run, a couple strikeouts, but not bad considering how his first couple outings went. So, Nito's pitched a couple. I mean, has caught Jackson Jobe a couple of times, and had another successful outing with Kiter Montero. So, gotta give it up to Scott Harris, who went out and got a guy. We pretty much knew that Rogers and Dingler were going to be the 2 catchers going into opening day, but he went out and got Nito, snagged him from the New York Mets, held on to him, and early on has been has been an important player, not only defensively, but has played pretty well at the plate as well. So,
you see, Nato does the old Gabe Kapler, no batting gloves.
yes,
Yeah.
and it was so cold yesterday. I'm pretty sure Jace Young normally doesn't wear batting gloves. Maybe he always wears just one, but
I saw the left one. Yeah.
yes, he wore one yesterday. So yeah, the elements were not ideal, and
They were not.
thugged it out yesterday. And the game took forever though. They had that one play where McKinstry swung but got hit on his hands, and they called a strikeout. Now, Coach, before we get to the break and we talk about injuries, explain to me the rationale in that. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I did because I wanted to see. I saw some clips too of Montero, and I wanted to make a quick point too. But in regards to that, I did see that, and then the replay that followed. So essentially, in real time when I saw the replay live before they did the replay breakdowns where they slow it down, live it looked like he swung at it, and he didn't start trying to break his swing until it was way too damn late, and he kind of knew. You saw the reaction in his face. He knew, I'm gonna get hit, I just don't know where, kind of look, anticipatory look. And yeah, he took it right off the hand. Well, by rule, if you're deemed to still be swinging the bat or in the act of swinging, trying to strike at the ball, your hands are a part of the bat. So they are the bat at that point. So the way they treat, because it was 2 strikes, this is why this comes into play, why he was out, not just a foul ball.
Right.
2 strikes as a batter. If you are deemed to be hit, but you are in the act of swinging first and then you get hit anywhere on your body, including your hands, it's considered a dead ball strike. So therefore,
because I was going to say, when you said that the hands are a part of the bat, I immediately say foul ball then.
Right, but the fact that they determined that he offered, by that being the bat cleared. Don't get me wrong. The vernacular in MLB in a little bit down to college and high school, it changes a little bit. The MLB rule states that you must not make an attempt. You're attempting to strike, make contact in some way, shape, or form. So that's where it kind of gets convoluted when it comes down to a check swing, because in that thinking, using that vocabulary, you by the definition of check swinging are no longer attempting to strike at the ball willingly. You are attempting to stop your swing, your motion forward. So, but that's not how we've interpreted it in the last, 60, 70, 80 years of baseball. Is if you're making an attempt, and we use this imaginary line for home plate and whatnot, but that's a whole other can of worms. But in essence, in short, he swung at the pitch before it made contact on him and his body, including his hands. But because at that point he was deemed to be check swinging, it's just a dead ball, 3rd strike, and he's out.
Yeah, so in a sense, it'd be the same thing would happen if he swung at an inside pitch that eventually hit his leg. It's the swing and miss it happens before.
Correct.
So it becomes a dead ball at that point. So just a little umpire 101, rule 101. We're gonna get to the first, and we'll get to the break, and then we're gonna talk injuries. Take it away.
So thankfully, since the last show, we've had very few issues in terms of transaction or roster moves for injuries. Really, the only one that happened was that we talked about offline the other day, because they post about people have a locker suddenly. So we kind of get the drop on that. But they sent down the recently had called up lefty reliever Bailey Horn and activated Sean Gunther, who did a phenomenal job. I think he appeared in both games yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And he was great. Absolutely fantastic. So good to see he's back and fully healthy. And then, because of the doubleheader, MLB now allows, if they play the next day for a doubleheader after rain out, like what happened Friday and Saturday, They allow an extra player for both teams, free of having to send anyone down. So, ergo, Kiter Montero pitched the other game of the doubleheader on Saturday, keeping with Hinch's theme of trying to give his normal rotation a full 5 days in between games, as they just had an off day. They're in a stretch of like almost, I think, 3 weeks with only one scheduled off day. So they were able to get the one in between this series and then the rain out Friday, but had the doubleheader yesterday to make up for it.
Yep. And in addition to that, it looks like Rodgers, from what I'm seeing, Rodgers is going to be traveling with the team on the upcoming road trip. Manuel Margot resumed running on 4/18, and he could possibly be looking to. He's been with the team, and I've seen him in the dugout as of late, but he might be looking to go on a rehab stint in Lakeland or somewhere else pretty soon. So we are getting more healthy. Chase Lee has looked pretty good. He was recently called up, and he's looked pretty good as well. But like you said, good to see Gunther back up and going after a short stint on the IL. But yeah, let's get into the down on the farm. I missed it. Coach knows that I was, the minute I got off, I was like, I forgot to talk about, the minor leagues. And, that's one of, a very informative segment that we get into where we kind of touch base on everything that's been going on around the league. The biggest news that I can talk about is Briseño, Josue Briseño, who obviously had that big fall ball year this past year. He was the Triple Crown winner at the Arizona Fall League, and he has been on fire. He's been driving the ball really well. He's hit a couple grand slams. He hit another 3-run home run yesterday. Good, it's definitely good to see him get going, because he didn't have a great spring and limited opportunities in the spring, but picking up where he left off in Arizona. Brett Callahan got off to a hot start. He was hitting over 300. He's hit a couple home runs. He had a 2-home run game last week. Seth Stevenson has had a hot start as well. This is a player that's averaged 65 stolen bases over the last 2 years. He's got off to a good start. He's got 1 home run, 9 RBIs, and his average of 327. And just the Whitecaps overall have had a good start. It's kind of, looking unfair right now for them. Justice Bigby has had a strong start. He's got 16 RBIs after being, and this is including his short stint in Toledo after being sent down to Erie. He's got 4 home runs, and yeah, tough to say what his future holds because he is a little bit older. He struggled last year, struggled in the spring, and we had so many outfielders at the AAA level that he had to be downgraded back from AAA to AA. But good to see him doing well nonetheless. And actually, some interesting news: Gage Workman was DFA'd from Chicago. So technically, I believe the Tigers, because with them being a Rule 5 draft pick.
Yep, you're right. I know you're going with that. They do get him back.
Yes. So I don't think it's been announced, or I don't think that he has officially joined the team again. But yeah, he'll be welcome with open arms. I think we made a corresponding. I don't know if it was a corresponding roster move, but I think we did cut somebody on our minor league team, so that could be a corresponding move in the new future. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. There was actually some people, because Gage Workman plays third base, and with us having such an uncertain early outlook at the third base position, there were some people that were upset that we would not protect Gage Workman and let him become a starter in Chicago. But that was short-lived. He didn't, he hasn't played well in Chicago. So you just might see Mr. Tater back in a Tigers uniform in some form of fashion. But yeah, that is all. That is all we have going on down on the farm. We're gonna get to the next break, and then we're gonna see where we head from there. All right. Anything going on around the major leagues that's worth touching on?
Excuse me. Yeah. Couple. One regarding former Tiger Eugenio Suarez. As if you follow baseball fairly decently, this has made its rounds since it happened Friday night. Suarez of the Diamondbacks has been the first player since 2017 to go 4-for-4 with 4 dingers. And is actually the 29th player overall, an MLB player in history to do that, which is kind of nuts in its own. But I challenged Foster to see who he may be able to guess who was the last player to do it, because they almost were teammates together. I don't think they overlapped in Detroit, but ironically, the last player to ever do it in throughout the league, ironically, was 7 years ago. Right before the day before my birthday, ironically, and that was JD Martinez. But I don't think he was a Tiger at that point anymore. I think he had been traded, ironically, already to Arizona. So if that was the case, then they've had both of the last 2 former Tigers to do it in their own uniform. That's crazy in its feet. And they still lost by a run to Atlanta that night. So it was all for naught. And I know we talked about it earlier in the week. Los Angeles Dodgers rookie made his debut and threw a no-hitter. Didn't complete the game. Only pitched, I think, 5 innings, 6 at most, but still impressive to do in any regard. And then Skubal with the game today with his stat line of 6 innings, no earned runs or walks allowed, and 11 or more strikeouts, joins 2 other Tigers. Foster got one of the 2 correct. Both have happened in the last 15 years, and they were Max Scherzer and Anibal Sanchez joins company in that regard. So it's kind of crazy because you look back at some of the pitchers in the 80s that we had, and Mark the Bird and other guys that we had too before him. You mentioned Verlander. That would have been a solid guess, but that he has not done himself. So that's it in terms of around the league, because right now we're among the top in the league.
Yeah, so the Tigers, I would assume we're still sitting where we were prior to post, the game today, but we are amongst the best American League teams, and gotta be, if we're not the best, who are better teams in the National League than us?
Yeah, we are the best team in the American League, but we are 3rd overall. The Mets are 19-9 right now.
Okay.
They claim the number 1 spot. And then the Giants technically are tied with us at 18-10. But that's pretty much it. Prior to the game, we were tied for 2 other teams at 17-10. But no, we are the number 1 team in the American League. Also 2.5 game lead in the Central. But the irony of that is the Cubs, who are 17-11, this is also more of a national thing, but a funny fact, 17-11, and they've played no one under 500 yet. Every team has been over 500 for them.
Because they played the Dodgers, and the Dodgers aren't even over 500.
Oh, they are. Dodgers are over 500.
You said that they played nobody that was, or at the time they weren't, right? Or
yeah, at the time when they were playing them,
gotcha.
They were at least 500 or better. So their strength schedule around has been kind of crazy. But Detroit reigns number 1 atop the American League.
All right. And a big part of that has been our ability to hold leads. And we've got we've had a lot of success from our high leverage pitchers, such as our Holtons, our Brebbias, our Canleys, and Will Vest. But who would you venture to say right now is our strongest and secret weapon as far as lefty specialists? Who would you say? This is a trivia question amongst all bullpen pitchers so far this year. Who would you say has been our lefty specialist thus far? This is a trick question, kind of. I don't know if you can get it.
Makes me think it's a righty now, even though you said it was lefty.
Damn, yeah, maybe.
You can't lead with what lefty specialist has been, and it's a righty. That's a real trap question. But I mean, we're talking just left-handers. I mean, Gunther coming back looks great. Holden has kind of hit some speed bumps.
I'm just saying lefty specialist. I don't want to specify one way or another that it's a lefty or a righty. It could be either one.
So against lefty hitters, you're saying?
Against lefty hitters, though.
Flaherty? Or we're talking bullpen.
No, bullpen guys. These are bullpen.
Damn. I gotta say Will Vest.
Damn. How did you get it? So Will Vest on the year has
he's
3
incredible, man.
He's insane
this year.
It's been a as they said in the broadcast in game 1, it's been a steady progression for him for the last 3 years to work his way up to the highest of leverage, and he currently has 3 saves this year, which I believe is the most in Detroit. Canley's probably up there too, but 3 saves. He's got a 0.58 WHIP, 0.75 ERA. Right-handed hitters are hitting 143, and a left-handed hitter has yet to get a single hit against him. He is, I think they are 0-20, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go to it. That makes it
sound like he's seeing lefties almost as much as righties, pretty much, give or take.
So he's had 18 at bats against lefties and 21 at bats against righties. So about dead even. He's walked through lefties, but he has yet to give up a single hit to a left-handed hitter.
I'll take those walks over giving up an extra base hit any day of the week.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
if you're missing like that, you'd rather, because for a lefty with his power, all you have to do is put the barrel on the bat and it'll go. It's going to go. So I'll take the walk.
So So thus far, after a month, he has yet to give up a single hit against a left-handed pitcher. Not that right-handed hitters are hitting so well. Like I said, they're only hitting 143, but the back end of the bullpen has been pretty strong. And hey, Kenta Maeda closed out the shutout today. He did walk somebody, but no hits allowed in 1 innings pitched in the 9th. And things are looking up. But let's get into the upcoming games. The upcoming games on this road trip. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game or road trip coming up on the West Coast. No. Let me count again. I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game road trip coming up on the West Coast. We start with the Houston Astros. Three games in Houston, 4 games in LA, and then we close out with 3 games in Colorado. What do you what are you looking for going into those games?
Well, I can tell you right now, despite who they have tentatively up for pitching matchups, we are definitely going to be seeing Kiter Montero at least one more time next week. Because simply the fact that they have 7 games in 7 days, I don't see AJ, letting his regular 5 just rip through it here. But I mean, at least up front, you got to think Flaherty for sure tomorrow night against Blanco, Reese Olson game 2, Jackson Jobe game 3. I think those are pretty much all set in stone. I don't really care what the combination is, man. You roll into these 2 teams in Houston and LA, let's be real. Colorado has 5 wins. They're ass. They're so bad. They're on pace for 25 wins. 25.
Wow.
if the organization were to not win 30, 35 games, I'd like vote like, can we move? Let's move this club. Let's get them out of here.
And this team's got some talent. I mean, obviously Bryant's hurt, but you got Tovar, you got Doyle. I mean, half these guys are on my fantasy team. I'm holding on to them because I'm hoping that they can, snap out of it. But yeah, they got Tovar. They got a pretty good catcher, don't they? Isn't their catcher the all-star on their team? Who else? McMahon. They got some players over there. I mean, obviously no pitching. I mean, who wants to go unless you're homegrown talent? Nobody in their right mind is going to take a check to pitch in Colorado. But
even Ubaldo Jimenez didn't want to resign there, and he was a draftee prospect.
Yeah. But it'll be cool for Jackson Jobe. Obviously, he got to get his feet wet in the playoffs against Houston, and he's from Texas, so you said that he'll get the nod in one of those games in the Houston series, correct?
Yeah, Jobe right now he's slated for the rubber match, the day game on Wednesday, which may come to his benefit. I feel like it shouldn't be as crowded, midweek April game. So allow him to kind of settle down any nerves that he may be recalling from the playoff game. I'm sure he'll get some adrenaline from that. But, Houston is in a world of hurt right now with Altuve playing left field. The amount of clips out there of him dropping routine fly balls it's borderline beyond comical and starting to become sad, because then you look at people who were making fun about Bregman the same breath playing third, and he was hitting well, but now he's also got like 8 errors already at third base. So you kind of think, well, there goes that Gold Glove. That's gone.
Wow.
He's been bad at third, but he's hitting. So it's like, well, okay. But no, I don't see why this team shouldn't win 5 out of 7. If not, at worst case, 4 out of 7, 5 out of 7 before they go to Colorado. And I would expect 2-1, 3-0. Out of Colorado. I don't really care who they pitch. They could pitch McKinstry if they wanted to, and they'd still win that game.
Wow, that's a bold statement. Hopefully Montero gets an opportunity to get another crack at Colorado. Obviously, he had a good an amazing outing last year against them, pitching against the minimum. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, Houston. I think the Houston series is going to be interesting. They still have some good hitters. I think Yordan Alvarez has had a slow start, but he's starting to come out of it. Altuve, despite his defensive woes, is still hitting well. They got Isaac Paredes. I mean,
they still have Hader, right? Their lefty guy.
Yes.
So they're all-star. They're all-star. So yeah, they do have some pieces. Offensively, I don't think they're quite the same team as they were last year, or even the year before that. But
they're missing Tucker. They're missing. Yeah, they're missing Tucker. They're missing Bregman for sure offensively. And the Angels are in first place, if I'm not mistaken.
Trout's hitting dingers. I think he's got almost as many as Torkelson, and his average has dipped quite down towards the Mendoza line, but he's pumping the ball out of the park. So I would do everything.
The Angels, I know at one point they were in first place, but they're actually in last, but only 3 games behind. Everybody in the AL West is kind of stacked up, with Seattle being at the top with 15 wins and 12 losses. So
they had a weird stat about offense. They were like top 2 or 3 in runs scored, and we spoke about it offline before during the spring training editions. It's been a difficult ballpark to hit there historically since they opened it as Safeco. And players hate hitting there because of the backdrop. So interesting things out there in Seattle.
Yeah, not many guys hitting well out there, but Cal Raleigh is still hitting the cover off the ball.
She's a masher.
But yeah. Anything else? We covered the.
Oh yeah, briefly, real quick on Montero's last start. I saw the clips and the highlights. He actually pitched, despite what the final box line read. He actually pitched. I think it's probably his best outing of the year, all things considered. There were 3 hits based on the trajectory and where the ball was going to be tracking for a ball or strike and whatnot around the zone. 3 of their hits on him were outside of the zone by a full ball. One was into a lefty. He turned on it and kind of hit one down the line over first base in Torkelson. But the other 2 were elevated. They were both a ball above, and they both hit him straight back, kind of up the middle towards center field. I think one just went right by Sweeney or by his glove at short, just missed catching a line drive. So, I mean, yeah, he was just 1 or 2 at-bat swings away from maybe only giving up 2-3 hits and 1 earned run instead of the 2 or 3 that he gave up. So encouraging things from Montero, who continues to be on this yo-yo up and down between Detroit and Toledo.
Yeah, it can't be fun. As you predicted, we may get a chance to see him with the seven games in 7 days. Hopefully he won't have to make that trip from Toledo all the way out to wherever that is on the West Coast. I mean, that won't be easy, but yeah, I was pretty impressed with him. He got into a little trouble, and that's the reason why he got pulled in the 4th inning. Would that be the 4th inning? No, it would be the 5th inning prior
he
to
went,
getting
4 1/3, 4 2/3, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So he pitched into the 5th inning and recorded 1 out. So, but didn't know what to expect from him. Second game of a doubleheader. It's always tough to beat him that second time around, but very entertaining effort. And he once again did it in rough conditions. He was out there warming his hands up out there. Got it, tough to get a grip on the ball out there. But But yeah, in closing, the Tigers conclude the home trip with an 8-2 record after sweeping the Baltimore O's to close things out. I encourage everybody to please subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. That's where you get the raw and uncut shows. Before we chop them up, put ads on them, and throw them on all audio aggregators at Corner to Copa. Coach, any closing words before we get up out of here?
Yeah, take it for what it's worth. It's only 16 games of home games had so far at Comerica, but their 13-3 mark is the best home start stretch since 1911.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's been almost 115 years, 114 technically, predating almost World War I. So yeah.
Well, there's a stat for you. Blew my mind as we got up out of here. But tune in next Sunday as we recap another week. We out.
Peace.